So hi everyone, this is Jay, your instructor for computer networks, and the topic that we are going to see is the transport layer. We will discuss the responsibility of the transport layer, and we will also see two main protocols of the transport layer, which are the TCP and the UDP. So let's see. These are the four main responsibilities of the transport layer. The first one is the port addressing, then there is a reliable data transfer, flow control, and the last one is the congestion control. So what is port address? Suppose in your computer there are many applications which are connected to internet. There is Chrome is running, then Firefox, then you are attending Zoom meeting online, you are playing game as well, and these applications are running simultaneously, and these all applications are connected to internet. So when your computer receives data, your computer won't be able to know that which data should be delivered to which particular application. So this problem is solved using the port address. So port address, it is a 16-bit address which is added at the transport layer. Each and every application will be assigned with unique port address so that when computer receives data from the multiple servers, using the port address, your computer knows that which data should be delivered to which particular application, to be specific, which particular process. So port address is responsible to deliver data from one process to another process. The next one is the reliable data transfer. Now the layer below the network layer is not reliable. The network layer tries its best to deliver the data, but there is a possibility that data can be lost or data cannot be delivered to the destination. And the network layer doesn't know that which data is not delivered or which data is lost. So in that case, the transport layer will provide the reliability. We will see some protocols in the transport layer using which it will keep eye on each and every data, and it will take care that which data is not delivered or which data is lost in the link. Then the next responsibility is the flow control. Now what is flow control? Suppose two devices are connected to each other via a link, and one sender is sending data at very high rate, but the receiver is not able to receive data at the rate of the sender is sending. So in that case, the receiver will receive some data and the most of the data will be lost in the link. So flow control means that sender should know that what is the capacity of the receiver, at which rate receiver can receive data appropriately, and sender should send data at that particular rate so that no data is lost. We will see some protocols are there in the transport layer that take care of the flow control. Then the next one and the last one is the congestion control. The best example of the congestion is the traffic on the road. So when you are stuck in the traffic, you cannot get out of it very quickly. Neither any other vehicle can enter in the traffic. So what is the congestion control? When two computers are connected to each other via a link, the link is having some capacity. You cannot send infinite number of packets and expect that link can carry that many packets. So if we are sending packets higher than the capacity of the link, in that case packet will be dropped and link will be congested. So we will see there are some protocols are there using which we can control the congestion. Now the two main protocols of the transport layer are the TCP and the UDP. So the TCP is known as the connection oriented protocol. So when two computers are using TCP at the transport layer, there should be establishment of connection between these two computers. After the connection is established, they can send and receive data very easily, and after that the connection should be terminated. So these are the main three steps which are followed when two computers are using on TCP. The TCP also provides the error checking as well as guarantees the delivery of data. On the other side, the UDP is the connection-less protocol. So there is no requirement of establishment of connection or data transfer or the deletion of the connection. If two computers are running on the UDP, they can simply send and receive data very freely. But in the UDP, there is no security. So if some applications that require security, they will use the TCP. But some applications that does not care about security and they want speed, in that case they will use the UDP protocol, because there are no any establishment phase or termination of connection phase in the UDP. We are going to compare the TCP and the UDP, but before that let's see the format of the TCP and the UDP. So you can see that this is the UDP segment, the header portion and the data portion. In the header portion there are 4 fields: source port, destination port, length and the checksum. Now what is the source port and the destination port? The port address, it is a 16-bit address which is added at the transport layer. In the source port, it is a port address of the application which is running at the sender side or source side. The destination port is the port address, again 16-bit, and it is the address of the port of the application which is running at the destination side. Then there is a length. It is a length of the whole UDP segment and it is in bytes. The next field is the checksum. So this field is used for the error detection, and all the fields in the UDP segments will be added, and after that we will take complement of that. That complement number will be added in the checksum field and this segment will be sent to the receiver. When receiver receives this segment, it will add all the fields in the segment and again it will take the complement. And if the complement number is all zeros, it means that there is no error. But if it is not zero, it means that there is some error. This is how checksum works, right? Then the next field is the data. In this field, the data which is received from the application layer will be stored. Now let's see the TCP segment. So in the first 2 field is source port and the destination port. Again, these fields are of 16-bit. Source port, it is a port address of the application which is running at the sender side, and the destination port, it is a port address which is the application running at the receiver side. The next field is the sequence number. Now what is sequence number? Suppose sender is sending 10 packets. When receiver receives these all packets, using the sequence number, receiver can arrange these packets in the proper order. And if any packet is lost, for example, receiver has not received the packet of sequence number 5. So in that case, receiver can request the sender that I have received all the packet except the packet of number 5. So please send me the packet of number 5 again. So using sequence number, receiver can arrange the packets in the order and receiver can also know whether any packet is missing or not. The length of the sequence number is 32-bit. Then the next field is the acknowledgement number. The acknowledgement number is always +1 than the sequence number. For example, sender is sending packet of having sequence number 1. So when receiver receives that packet, it will send acknowledgement of number 2. So when sender receives the packet of having acknowledgement number 2, sender will know that the packet of sequence number 1 is received successfully, and now the receiver is expecting the packet of sequence number 2. When the packet contains the acknowledgement, the field in the acknowledgement bit will be 1. You can see that A bit will be set to 1. Then the next field is the checksum. Again, this field is used for the error detection, and there is option that in that field we will implement some different TCP options. Now let's see the next field, which is header length. The length of this field is 4 bytes. So the minimum value is 0000, means 0 in decimal, and 1111 means 15 in decimal. So in the header length field, the range is 0 to 15. But valid range is not 0 to 15, the valid range is 5 to 15. And header length is always multiplication of 4. So the minimum value which is present in the header length is 5. So what is the minimum size of header? It is 5 into 4 means 20 bytes. And what is the maximum size of the header? It is 15 into 4, that is 60 bytes. The next three fields are the reset, scene and fin. These are the flag bits and size of each and every individual bits is 1. The first one is a reset. So when the value in this field is 1, it means that the connection should be terminated at the both side. The next field is scene. So when the value of this field is 1, it means that the sender tries to synchronize with the receiver, and after that the fin means that sender wants to finish the connection, and this field are known as connection management. Then congestion notification, which are C and E, and next two fields are U and P, which are called as urgent pointer and priority. So when urgent pointer is 1, router knows that this TCP segment should be forwarded as fast as possible to the destination. And when priority is set to 1, it means that router knows that this TCP segment contains the highest priority, so this packet should be forwarded before other packets. And the last field is the data, which is data received from the application. Now let's see the difference between the TCP and the UDP. The first difference is that the TCP is the connection oriented and the UDP is the connection less. We know that if two computers are running on the TCP, there should be establishment of connection, and after the connection is established, they can send and receive data very easily. But in the UDP, there is no mechanism is present. So two devices which are running on UDP, they can send and receive data at any time. In the TCP, when the data transfer is done, there is a requirement of the termination of connection. Again, that is not present in the UDP. In the TCP, to establish a connection, it uses the three-way handshake. In the UDP, there is no establishment of connection, so no handshake is used. We will see how the three-way handshake is used in the upcoming sessions. Then in the TCP, all the packet sends will be in the order. And to do so, it uses the sequence number and the acknowledgement mechanism. Again, in the UDP, all the packets are not in order. They will follow the different paths, and again they will be delivered in out of order. The next difference is that in the TCP there is a mechanism for flow control. In the UDP there is no flow control. What is flow control? The sender should be sending data at particular rate so that receiver can receive very easily. TCP is used by critical applications that require security. UDP is used by real-time application. Because the size of the UDP is very less and there is no establishment or termination phase is present in the UDP, all the packet will be delivered fast as compared to TCP. So we can, if we are developing some application that requires real-time data transfer, in that case UDP is more preferable. If we are developing some application that requires security, in that case we will use the TCP. Then after, the size of the TCP header is 20 bytes and the UDP header is 8 bytes. In the TCP we know that there is a mechanism of the acknowledgement is present, and in the UDP there is no acknowledgement. The TCP guaranteed the data transfer and the UDP there is no guarantee. And TCP used by some popular applications such as DNS, HTTP, FTP and the telnet. And the UDP is used by DHCP, RIP and voice over IP. So this is it for today's session, and if you have any doubt you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you so much.